Trust in Employment Law, featured on CNN Money, consistently ranked as a top 10 tier employment attorney by Expertise Connections, a human resources consultant, expert, and advocate. Informational, inspirational, and entertaining. One of the most talked about and progressive shows on social media. Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stewart.
Welcome to Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stewart. We have a lot of information we want to share with you on today. We know that this is a critical time, a critical moment, and we want to get information out to you, some good information that would help you with some decision making as you go along. Now, I want to just put some things in perspective for you on today. I want to put some things in perspective based upon some of the calls that I get, some of the individuals that are reaching out and asking different questions. One of the questions that's coming up all the time is employment law questions. You know, people are getting fired left and right. Since January of 2025 to approximately September of 2025, there has been an unprecedented 455,000 individuals who have lost their jobs. 455,000 individuals that have lost employment. And so when we have individuals that's losing employment like this, we have to be able to give them some perspective on why they are losing their employment and what is going on. Another thing that's going on, as you know, is the government shutdown. We have over 1 million individuals who are not working due to the government shutdown. And then we have approximately 43 million individuals that have been set to lose their benefits, their SNAP benefits. We know SNAP as food stamps. So most people, when they hear of SNAPs, may not know what that is, but SNAP is food stamps. And so you have 43 million people that are losing their food stamps. Then you have about 1 million people that are unemployed because of the government shutdown. Then you have approximately 455 to 500,000 people that have lost jobs since the Trump administration. And most of these individuals that have lost jobs, these individuals are African American women. African American women are being terminated at a record number, African American women. And we want to kind of unravel this information and let you know what you can do if you are facing termination, if you are losing your job, if you don't have food, you know, what can you do? We want to, and this is, you know, basic information, but if you don't have access to food and you're in a food desert, go to your local church or to your urban leagues in your cities and find out where the food banks are. All cities have and communities have food banks. And so if you contact places such as your urban league and your community churches, they can direct you to a food bank and you can get nutritional food free of charge. So that's what I first of all recommend, contacting these food banks so that you can have access to food. You're losing your job. What do you do if you're losing your job in this season? Okay. First thing you want to understand is, do you have a right to fight a wrongful termination? Do you have a right to fight a wrongful termination? Yes, you do, but it's difficult right now. You need to know that the odds are against you, but it's possible to fight a wrongful termination. What is a wrongful termination? A wrongful termination can be based upon you reported something on your job. that you saw and you reported this information and you got fired, you can get terminated because of your race, because of your gender, because of your age. These are all reasons why you can get terminated. And if you were to get terminated based on some of these issues, what can you do? You can still file a complaint of discrimination with your state agency. Now, I necessarily wouldn't recommend first and foremost filing the complaint if you're being terminated with the federal government, the EEOC, because I believe that the EEOC is not necessarily moving in the best interest of people of color that are losing their jobs. I'm not saying that in all cases, but in many cases, they may not be. And so I think you want to work through your state at this point until we can see where the EEOC is going in their mandate. It looks like the EEOC is being used primarily to look at wrongful termination and from the lens of DEI. Was the person a DEI hire? If the person was a DEI hired, then maybe they didn't deserve the job, or maybe they weren't qualified for the job to begin with. Maybe they weren't never qualified for the job and they get terminated. So we want to arm you with some information that can assist you during these turbulent times, because these are turbulent times when many people cannot find jobs, many people are losing their housing and they cannot afford rent. And this is another big issue that's going on nowadays. Another big issue. You want to be aware of this. People are living in their homes. So many people today are living in their homes. Did you know that there is they call it vehicular homelessness? Individuals that they're not on the streets, so they're not being counted as homeless because they're not on the streets, but they're in vehicles, they're in RVs, and they don't have places to live. The rent is going up astronomically, and people don't have the means. They don't have the food, they don't have the rent, and they're losing their jobs. And so we want to provide hubs of information where individuals can contact us and identify, we can help you identify what your struggle is and get the information to you, and get the information to you free of charge. We want you to like and share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you can have access to free legal information. And if you send us your question or your concern, we will discuss that question for you on air. We also have a radio station. It's called Attorney Sheila R. Stewart Live, and it's on Live 365. The internet radio station is scrolling at the bottom, and you can access that radio station also for talk radio and legal information. What do you do? Okay, now let's look at this government shutdown. Who's being hurt by this government shutdown? Whose fault is it? Well, everybody's being hurt because it's a trickle effect. It's a trickle effect from this government shutdown, and we want to get people back working again. And so I recommend that if you have a federal job, get a part-time job now. Look for some part-time work. Amazon is a place where a lot of people are going for employment reasons. Amazon is doing a lot of hiring for manual type jobs, loading, boxing, packaging items. You can also get some part-time work driving. So I would look for online work. I would look for remote work. These are things that you can do to help yourself during the government shutdown, as well as look for food banks. Look for food banks in your community. Now, one of the things that I want to talk to you about is, some people may not agree with this, but we have to get to the place as a people where we're not government dependent, because we can see what's taking place in the government right now. And you don't want to be government dependent. Obamacare is set to expire at the end of the year, Obamacare. And when Obamacare expires at the end of the year, do you know what's going to happen? Those premiums are going to go up. They're going to triple in some ways. So they may go up double, but they're going to go up. And if they go up, how are you going to get your health care? So we have to look at this. How are you going to get food if the SNAP benefits are not released? What are you going to do for employment if the federal government stays shut down and you cannot go back to work? And then some of those federal jobs, they're not coming back. The Trump administration, they are going to cut those jobs. Now, this is what the federal courts said. This was two of the federal judges said, I think in Rhode Island and Connecticut. They said that the Trump administration must release the SNAP benefits. They must release the SNAP benefits, and they must use the residual funds that they have in reserve to feed the people, and that they cannot continue to withhold those funds. Trump turns around and say, well, what's the process of getting these funds back to the people? So what is this causing? This is causing a bureaucratic red tape nightmare for people who need to eat. It's causing red tape nightmare for innocent people and children that need to eat. Did you know that 40% of individuals that receive SNAP benefits, they're not lazy individuals that's laying around the house not doing anything? 40% of individuals that receive SNAP benefits are children. 40% of people that receive SNAP benefits are children. And so when you have children that can't eat, children that will go to bed hungry, we have to take action and we have to do something. So we are calling on churches, fraternities, sororities, businesses to share, to provide services to those that are hurting, because many are hurting, and we want to be there, boots on the ground, to provide those needed services for those individuals that are in duress. Now, let's jump back briefly, because we're going to just kind of cover different things on this evening. I want individuals to be have the knowledge to understand what is going on. You see the effects of all of this disaster. You see the hurricanes in Jamaica. I live in St. Louis, and a suburb outside of St. Louis, and we had a horrendous tornado that hit St. Louis in May of 2025. And this tornado left many, many individuals homeless. I mean, it just did a number on the city of St. Louis, in the inner city of St. Louis, where individuals were already hurting. And some of those pictures that you see in Jamaica, though we have areas in the St. Louis metropolitan area that's decimated, just like you saw in Jamaica. But these individuals are not getting help. Money is not getting to these individuals. Services are not getting to these individuals. And so we have to tap into these community-based resources for assistance, because it's going to get real cold soon, real cold soon. And when it gets freezing cold, you're going to need a warm place to live, and a tarp over your house is not going to get it. And so government assistance is being cut off in a lot of these democratic cities. Government assistance is being cut off. You need to take a look at what's going on in Chicago. Take a look at what's going on in Los Angeles with ICE, people being pulled off the streets, innocent people being pulled off the streets. It's more innocent people being pulled off the streets on their way to work than it is individuals that are actually illegal residents of the country, in the country illegally. And so we want to know, we want individuals to have access to resources, legal information, how to get out of the hole that you are in right now. And we want you to tap into these law offices, community-based law offices that's providing services that you can get information from your urban league, your metropolitan urban league, your national urban league. I think everyone that's in distress, you need to contact the National Urban League. They have resources. They can connect you in your city, in your state, and give you the information that you need at this time. Now, there are a lot of illegal terminations taking place right now. There's a lot of illegal terminations taking place right now based upon an individual's race, based upon the individual's color, based upon their gender. A lot of illegal terminations taking place. What do you do when you find yourself terminated? You've done a good job, you've been there for a while, and you find yourself terminated and you want to file a wrongful termination. You need to write a simple statement. You need to go online and write a simple stating, driving the charge based upon why you believe that the termination was based upon your race. You need to give some facts, give some examples, check the right box that states that it was based upon your race, and you need to file that online. And after you file that information online, you need to start looking for another job. The law requires you to mitigate your damages. Mitigate. The word mitigate means that after you have been terminated wrongfully, you still have a responsibility to get out there and look for another job. And that's called the mitigation of your damages. Are you likely to succeed on a discrimination charge? I would tell you that it's going to be difficult, very difficult. Is it impossible? Nothing is impossible, but it's going to be difficult. You need to have evidence. You need to have documentation. When most people call my office, you have absolutely no documentation. You have absolutely no information. It's just you sharing how bad you feel regarding how you were treated. But in terms of you having information about what happened to you, most people that I speak to, they don't have anything. You don't have anything to prove your case. And how can a person defend you, defend your husband, defend your child when all you have is your verbal report? You need more than that. So if you feel that you're being discriminated on your job based upon your race, one of the first things you need to do is start taking notes. You need to keep a journal of information of what has happened to you. You need to be able to go from month to month, day to day, week to week, and say what occurred, who did this to you, what time it happened. And then if you have any witnesses that can agree with what occurred to you, you would need to write down their names and to get these individuals involved in your case. Okay, I'm going to tell you the average person that contacts me, they have absolutely no information other than being upset. And this is very little that I can do to help an individual that has nothing, no notes, no anything. And by the time you get terminated, it's really a little too late to start trying to put some of that information together. Another thing I want to share with you is the length of time you've been on your job. A lot of people that contact me, 3 months, 6 months, you work 3 months, you work 6 months, and you want to sue someone. Most people are not going to take that case 3 to 6 months. that you have been on the job working, and now you want to file this lawsuit for three to 6 months. No, we're looking for time put in on the job, substantive work record, and if you have a PIP, if they give you a PIP and you sign that PIP, I would not sign a PIP. Always disagree with the PIP. Write a statement saying why you disagree with the PIP. What is a PIP? A performance improvement plan. Do not agree with it. Tell the people it's not true. And write and put in your words why it's not true. Tell us why it's not true. And have in writing in real time so that information can be used to help you. Okay? We want you to do this because thank you, Dr. Daniels, for tuning in. We're giving information out this evening to help individuals that have lost their job. We're stating that over 455,000 individuals have lost their job, okay? And most of these people that have lost their job is race-based. It's race-based. But you have to be able to prove it. And it's on you to prove why these individuals terminated you. And this is one of the classic things that some people tell me. Just because your supervisor is white and you are African American or Hispanic or Jewish, that does not make it a race case. Okay? It has nothing to do with it. That's just you just getting started. It can be something totally different that has absolutely nothing to do with that. And you want to be able to connect the dots and to show us what it is and why you think this is the basis of your termination. Okay, so what do we do? What do we do during a government shutdown when you have 1 million individuals that have lost their jobs due to a government shutdown, and you have 42 million people that are on the brink of losing their SNAP benefits? And even if the Trump administration is forced into releasing those residual funds for the SNAP benefits, we already know that there's going to be some red tape involved with this. So what do? We have to start creating, using our churches to provide resources to individuals. Churches cannot only be places where people gather for Sunday morning services, but they have to become places where individuals gather for resources. The churches that can provide resources will have people standing in line to get in on Sunday morning. I'm going to say that again. When you see an empty church is a mirror of a lack of resources being provided. Let that sink in. If you see an empty church, it's a mirror of a lack of resources being provided. The more resources that you provide, the more you're going to fill those churches up. I am going to be working with the Urban League on a couple of projects, and I'm volunteering on these projects. One of the projects is called Pulpit to Porches and Grill to Glory. Pulpit to Porches, we're going to be connecting the neighborhood church with the people in the community. Why? Because most of your residents right now, where a lot of these neighborhood churches sit, they're in poor communities. They're in very poor communities. And the people don't have food. They don't have access to information. And so we're not going to judge how they got there. We're going to try to get them from being in that place. Okay? We're not going to judge, they use drugs. They use this. We're not going to, everybody that's in a type, they didn't use drugs. And a lot of people now, they're called the working poor. Working poor. A lot of these people are teachers, nurses. They work in the schools, they work in retail, but their pay has not caught up with the escalation of rent. So they work 40 hours a week, they pick up a part-time job, but it's not enough to cover the expenses that these individuals have. And so what these individuals eventually end up doing is what? Living on the streets, living in their cars, living in RVs. They buy these rundown RVs for $5,000 or $10,000 and they live in them. And you see this taking place in New York, you see it in Chicago, but the big RV cities are Los Angeles. That's one of the biggest RV cities that you have. And Philadelphia is one too. And so when you see this atrocity, we have to start waking up and saying, what are we going to do to make a difference in the lives of hurting individuals? Individuals that don't have food, individuals that don't have proper places to live, individuals that can't feed their children. We have to become a resource for these individuals. Because if we don't become a resource for individuals that's in trouble, we're going to see a rise in crime like we've never seen before. You think it's a lot of crime now? You haven't seen crime the way crime is going to rise. If we don't take action in making a difference in the lives of hurting people. You know, I get calls from all over the country, all out of the country. I told an individual recently, I told him, I said, at this time in my life, I cannot afford to be a asset for your entire nation. It was somebody in Africa that called. I can't, we have to get other people involved to feed these nations and to feed hurting individuals, okay? And so how do we do this? How do we get individuals involved? How do we get individuals connected with the hurting? And I am going to say this again, connect with your local community-based church. We're not talking about a denomination. We don't care about the denomination. It can be a Catholic parish. It can be a non-denominational Baptist, whatever type of church. That church can become a hub to feed individuals. People are hungry. People are hungry. I had a pastor to call me and say, we are hungry. I sent them a little money. It wasn't a whole lot, but I sent them something. We have to be on guard to feed individuals and to connect them with the resources that we need. Now, there is a program called Urban Initiatives. Urban Initiatives. And I am going to go live and talk about urban initiatives because urban initiatives is a way that it's a initiative that you can utilize to get the resources to the people and assist the people in getting the services that they need. Okay, it's a great initiative and it's a great way of helping individuals. And you rolled out urban initiatives. One of the hubs to rolling out urban initiatives is in the church. Okay, is in the church. And so you want to be aware of the impact that this government shutdown is having on people. Over 1 million people not eating. Over 1 million people have lost their jobs. Then you have the other 455,000, primarily the majority of women that have lost jobs, women of color that have lost jobs. Then you have children that are at risk of losing their food stamps, the SNAP benefits. And remember, when we talk about that SNAP benefit, 40% of those individuals that receive SNAP benefits are children, not people that's just lazy, laying around playing video games. And that's how the government likes to paint this picture that is just a few people laying around, not doing what they need to do. They didn't get jobs and now they need benefits. No, you have the disabled, that receive the SNAP benefits. You have disabled people. You have children. You have elderly people that receive the SNAP benefits. So you have a lot of individuals that get these benefits because they do not have the means to help themselves. And so we want to get this on your mind as we go into the holiday season. We're getting ready to move into the holiday season soon, and people are going to be, doing Thanksgiving shopping and holiday Christmas shopping and different things. What can we do to provide services for those that are in need as we approach this new season? What can we do to get information out to individuals? Resource fairs, job fairs, food giveaways, okay? Bags of goodies for children, giving away the staples that people need. We want to come together as a community and do these types of, provide these types of services to hurting individuals, because there are more people that's hurting than we realize. A lot of people go out, they don't want to say anything because they are ashamed. I saw one young lady on the news where she was saying how this was the first time she had ever been to a food bank. She had never been to a food bank before. And she was crying. And she was saying how ashamed she was to be at the food bank. But no, don't be ashamed. Thank God that the food bank is there to provide the services that you need. We excited that it's there. And so let's think more critically and have compassion and desire to help individuals that are in trouble at this time. Because when all of this information is coming across the news screen, and you're sitting in your house, your beautiful home, your lovely home, watching your big screen TV, and you're hearing about these hurting individuals, let's think critically. What can we do to make a difference in the lives of individuals? And then to recap this, I'm going to go off soon. To recap this, if you have lost your job and you believe you have lost your job wrongfully based upon some type of Title VII protection, race, gender, age, disability, you need to file a claim with your local Human Rights Commission. And you need to state clearly in that claim why you have been terminated based upon a Title VII protection. Summarize it, check the box that apply to you, and turn it in online. While that complaint is being reviewed, then you look for an attorney and get the ball rolling and let that investigation take place on that charge, and let them do the initial work on the charge to get things moving on your behalf. Also, connect with your urban league. If you need resources and you don't know what to do, call the National Urban League. Get a list of resources from the National Urban League to find out about jobs, food banks, resources. They are going to provide you just with a plethora of information to help you as you go along this way. Another thing, let's look out for our youth. Let's look out for our youth. Let's look out. I want to look at what Dr. Daniels said, Dr. Pastor Diane Daniels. She made a comment about the working poor. Yes, there are many individuals are working poor, and they're working every day. They're getting up, going to work just like rich people, not rich people, middle class people, because rich people normally don't work every day, but they're going to work like just regular people, but they're not making enough money to cover their expenses, obviously. And so they end up in these deplorable conditions. And what can we do to help the working poor? It's, we need to look at ways to assist individuals because people are giving up and we don't want them to give up. We want them to know that we can assist them by providing services to help the working poor. I'm so glad you put that up there because that information is key. That information is key. A lot of people have overlooked these individuals because they're going to work every day. They think they have money. But lots of times they're going to work every day, but they don't have any money. So where do we go from here? We have to put together a strategy, a Joseph plan. That's what I call it. A strategy, of insight, of understanding to provide this level of resource and assistance for individuals. So we have to start the conversation. Okay? We have to start the conversation to get people to thinking about individuals that's hurting. So this is a pastor. He's saying, please pray for us because we need Bibles to distribute. Yes, we need to pray, but we need to help you get some Bibles as well. We need to pray, and that's, because prayer leads to action. We had Pastor Kimberly Ray on a few weeks ago, and she talked about the postures of prayer. Well, after you get through with all these postures and praying, we need to get up and get some work done. Put this prayer in action and get it in motion. Tell us more about the Bibles that you need. And we need to work collectively to help one another. We need to work collectively to do more to assist one another. Don't you agree with this? Don't you think we can get further down the road effectively when we help each other? Of course we can. Of course we can. Thank you. What city are you in, sir? What city is this? What country is this that you are needing these Bibles for? If you can tell us more about your country and what, because I'm sure you're going to need, that language for the country that you are in. Tell us the country that you are in. Yes, the strategies of Joseph plan. You're absolutely right. That's what it is. And then one of the things that I've been studying and talking about quite a bit is called the superiority of intellect. I want everybody to think about that terminology. The superiority of intellect. What is this? That the mind that's in Christ, let that mind also be in you. A mind that take us to a whole nother dimension of providing services and for helping individuals. And the way that we think become just intellectually, and no one can compare to what we are thinking and what we can do when we walk with this level of mindset. And that is what I want us to do. And I want us to think about one another. Think about how we can help one another. What is this next comment? We can go further together. We must work collectively. Yes, thank you for putting it back, taking that statement and putting it together again for me. I appreciate you for this because this is what we need to do because it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. I mean, when I was growing up as a little girl, if you had a government job, you were doing good. You had a government job, you were doing good, but not today. Today, if you have a government job, it looks like you are on the chopping block to go down to, poor almost, because it's almost like it's an attack against people that work for the government. If you have received a government job, it's almost like you are looked down upon. Why are people looking down upon individuals that have a government job? There's nothing wrong with having a government job. And the work that those individuals perform is meaningful. We give a shout out to TSA. We give a shout out to the air traffic controllers. We give a shout out to the Department of Defense, the U.S. Department of Education, the people that work in the United States Social Security offices. We give a shout out to those individuals. They're doing a phenomenal job. And many of these individuals, they have such a love for the United States of America, they're still working. A lot of people, many people will not work without a paycheck. And these individuals are still working. Thank you, Ethan, for tuning in and being with us on this evening. And thank you for your comment. We appreciate your comment. We appreciate you tuning in, and we appreciate your comment. Let's get some more comments. Okay. Thank you, Minister Caldwell. We thank you for your comment. You said amen, and I say amen. And I saw you online doing the prayer walk. So congratulations for a job well done. We need more of that. And let's go back to our pastor that's from another country. Is that southern part of Pradesh? Pradesh, is that how you say that? Is that where you're from? Okay. Well, we thank you for tuning in all the way from where you are. That is a blessing, and we are, so happy that you would take time to tune in with us on to this evening, and we appreciate you for this. Let's look at how we can partner with you and some of the things that you need, how we can partner with you and how we can work with you to make a difference. We're going to be broadcasting in some other countries coming up and starting in January. Our goal is to reach 100 million starting in January. We're going to get on some new platforms, and we're launching our internet radio stations, and we're launching more media platforms. And we're going to have a formal launch party in January for the new work that we're going to do here soon. Currently, we're already broadcasting in the United States, England, Nigeria, Algeria, France, India, Iraq, Pakistan, Egypt, and Morocco. So those are some of the countries that we are hitting. There are some other African countries that we are in. We're in, I think it was South Africa that we were. I was contacted from someone over there as well. So we are excited about how God is blessing us to reach more individuals, and we want you to continue to follow us, to like and share and follow our broadcast. And let's remember the individuals are hurting. Let's keep those individuals in prayer that are hurting. Let's continue to partner with one another and to think about how we can continue to work with one another to make a difference. Let's open up our doors and our hubs to provide these services. And I'm telling you, I know it doesn't sound, people don't want to hear this, but you need to think about what I'm getting ready to say. An empty church represents low services for the community. I've done a lot of community work in my life. I started in community work. That's where I started. I did not start as an attorney. This is like my fifth career. It's like my fifth career, literally. I started in community-based services, providing services and working with service delivery programs. That's where I started. I did not start as an attorney. And wherever you have community-based services, community-based opportunities, that is where you are going to see people coming in on a regular basis. I was at a community-based program a few days ago with the Urban League, and it had to be at least 600 or 700 people in the room. Packed place was packed. We had 4 different parking lots. People were parked everywhere. Took us 5 to 10 minutes to get in the meeting room because people had to be transported to the meeting. You know why? Because the services are being given to the community. And when you can get services to the community, don't you realize that the community is going to be better? You're going to see crime go down. You're going to see young people go back to school. The high school dropout rate will go down. God bless you, Brother Ethan. That's right. Prayer changes things. Prayer changes things. That's the most powerful statement of tonight. Prayer changes things. And thank you for that statement, because it absolutely does. It does. It changes things. But it also changes us, and it causes us to do a work. Okay? That's what it will cause us to do. It will cause us to do. Thank you so much, Brother Ethan. That's so kind of you. Yes, I celebrated 13 years doing practicing law in my own business and with the community as well. Couldn't do it without you. And I need you, and we want to work together to make a difference in the lives of hurting people. Okay? We want to make a difference in the lives of hurting people. So I'm going to go off the air. I want to thank you for tuning in and being with me on this evening. I want you to think about critically how we can help hurting people. What can we do at the next level? What can we do to help people? And start using your resources. Start using your services, your church buildings to help those that's in need. And I'm telling you, when you start helping more, the offering plate's going to fill up. Those pews are going to fill up. You get involved in the community and do the work. You're going to see crime go down. Telling you what's going to happen. So thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you again next weekend. Thank you, and God bless you.